Are you proud of your Filipino supernatural heritage? Then wear it for the world to see. Visit our merchandise page at www.cafepress.com, keyword Pamanimation and Aswang.
Ever since I was a little kid in Quezon City in the Philippines, I've listened to ghost stories. I heard them from older siblings, classmates, close and distant relatives, even my parents. Every time someone passed away, the same common questions always came up. Did you feel anything when he or she died? Did the deceased make their presence felt to family members afterwards? Did you smell something sweet in the air, like perfume or burial flowers? Then and now, even in the 21st century, ghosts and ghost stories are a part of everyday Filipino life. It's a given when someone passes away that a family member might see the deceased in one form or another. In folk Catholicism, ghosts, souls, and apparitions are often tied to religion, connecting the living with the afterlife that includes heaven, hell, and even purgatory. If spirits continue to roam among the living, then there are a variety of reasons why they haven't continued to those destinations. My fascination with ghosts started very early. We lived in two houses back in the Philippines, one in the city, one in the province, and both were reputed to be haunted. Why I'm drawn to them is kind of a mystery, even to me. These uncommon stories have an element of danger, of mysticism, of fear. Perhaps, maybe my curious mind is just drawn to the unknown. I've written two books about the supernatural, and I too get asked the same five questions over and over again. Why do I like ghost stories? Do I think they're real? Have I ever seen one? What is the scariest story I've ever heard? And am I afraid of them? We've just discussed why I like them, so let's get to the second question. Do I think they're real? Are ghosts real? Truth be told, I honestly don't know. People have reported seeing them for thousands of years, from presidents to peasants, emperors to slaves, in literally every country on the face of the earth. While it's sometimes hard to separate first hand accounts with religious and cultural conditioning, there are still a great many things in the natural world that we cannot explain or have yet to discover. To say that we're able to explain everything there is to see is human arrogance, so I'd like to keep an open mind with certain possibilities. Have I ever seen one? Well, I've seen things from the corner of my eye, heard things in the hallway when I was fast asleep, and have even felt things brush up against me. Possibly supernatural, yet easily explainable with common sense explanations. So much for that insight, but scary nonetheless. What is the scariest story I'd ever heard? In my research, I've come across accounts, testimonials, and retellings that would humble any sane person into a ball of cowering, quivering, abject fear. Great ghost cultures like Japan, Thailand, and Tibet have classes of ghosts, demons, and witches that most Westerners haven't even considered yet, much less encountered. But that does not diminish the ghost traditions of Europe, the Americas, Africa, and the Pacific. Although I do have a few ghost stories that would constantly send shivers up my spine, to me, all ghost stories are scary. It doesn't matter where they came from, because if you're alone in a house at night and an uninvited apparition decides to make its presence felt, you will be scared. After listening to ghost stories my whole life, and having written two books about them, I always get asked, are you afraid of them? The simple and truthful answer is, of course, yes. It is perhaps this fear of the content that draws me back time and time again, of the anticipation of possibly seeing something that never does, so far. I still get chills from hearing stories about characters I may encounter when I'm alone at night, when I'm walking past a dark room with its door half open, or standing in front of a mirror while brushing my teeth, or even walking down a strange hallway in the hotel I happen to be staying at. Writing about the supernatural does not make me immune from fearing it. It's almost like being drawn to a darkness in my subconscious, just below my cognitive reasoning, that makes its presence felt when it wants to. As eerie as it sounds, this shadow becomes aware of you when you think of it. Now, this begets the question that inspired me to write my Filipino ghost stories book in the first place. Why collect them? Simple answer, it's about history. It's about your family's history. No two families are exactly alike, and your ghost stories are unique to your lineage. Themes may repeat, but the details are specific to you. The ghosts and circumstances reflect key moments in your timeline and can be placed with surrounding events larger than the story itself. These tales rarely appear without context to a larger narrative, whether related or not. I equate them to heirloom cooking recipes that are passed on from generation to generation. They are equally as valuable because the voice that tells them belongs solely to your family. During Halloween, or whenever the situation calls for the telling of a scary story, I am proud to tell people the spooky tales that I grew up with, and I'm elated to hear my friends and relatives' own stories as well. Your ghost stories are timeless, and it doesn't matter if they occurred 10, 50, 100 years ago. They are as relevant to your identity now as they were back then. So I suggest you start collecting your family's ghost stories now. Ask your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, and all your relatives about their experiences with the supernatural. Before you know it, you will have a small book of heirloom stories that can be readily told when the time for them is right. And your children will have these stories too, ready for the telling when your great-great-grandchildren are clamoring for spooky tales while sitting around at night when the moon is full or during a torrential rainstorm, wishing to be frightened and entertained. Which brings us now full circle. Are ghosts real? The answer is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we have photographic, video, thermal, or audio evidence validating or invalidating their existence. What matters is that people believe they are real, and by believing so, they will treat them as if they were. As a species, we believe in a great many things, and as long as we continue to be, we will wonder, we will dream, and we will always chase the unknown.
If you're enjoying the content that we've provided, please show your support. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Would you like to learn more about the Asian and Pacific Islanders supernatural? Then please pick up Alex Pommen's books, Filipino Ghost Stories from Tuttle Publishing, and Asian Supernatural, including Hawaii and the Pacific, from Mutual Publishing. Both are available from their respective publishers or from Amazon.com.